Okay, okay, I think I'm live. Hello, I'm James Hollingsworth. I am the other tutor to Moira Aston to the Church History in Focus 604CH course. So I hope you've got this link. And I thought what I'd do is I'd do a bunch of these, 15, 16 of them. I'd like to do preferably one looking at each of the chapters that we're going to be looking at. So that's my plan. This one is just going to simply be a quick intro. Yep, give me 5, carry on. That's my soup. But what I would like to do is just have 5 minutes of these things so that you can then have a look at them, and when we then meet, so to speak, on the big blue button, that we might be able to have more fruitful. So this is me. I'm James Hollingsworth. I'm a village vicar. So sorry about the disappointment there. I'm not a scholar, and I'm not a scholar of church history. My MA is in church history, but it's at the other end of church history. I very much like the Apostolic Fathers, which is why when Guido invited me to do this course, I did think he was having a laugh. Anyway, we'll see if you're having a laugh by the end of it, and we'll see how that goes. That's why what you'll get from me is broad and interesting, I hope, but you're not going to get that scholarly level that you'll get from somebody like Simon or Guido, because well, they're scholars. That's what they are. That's what they do. But what I do hope we'll be able to explore is the application. What is it that we've come to understand through the church history? How does that apply to our ministry? So that's the angle that I'm taking on it. I commend to you the idea of printing one of these off. I am sorry that it's some 114 pages, but I think it'll be handy to have to hand. So I think that's worth doing. When you come to it, bear in mind these were the lecture notes that I thought I would have in front of me, and that you would be there. So they're written for me, not for you, but I hope to a large extent that they make sense as you come to read it. I recognise that a number of sentences are not sentences, but then I would have been delivering them, so I don't care. It is written for me, not for you. You'll see certain footnotes. Here on page 3, there's a nice footnote on page 3. Diarmaid MacCulloch, The History of Christianity, and then it says 1006. So Diarmaid MacCulloch's book. So there you go. I got something out of that. Page 1006 in my version. I'll do a book review in a moment, possibly after soup. But let me just get through some of this stuff first. But you'll also see, so you'll see in the text, you'll see an occasional reference to DMAC, and that's Diarmaid MacCulloch. That's what that means. You'll also see occasional references to a GZ. So page 4, at the very top of page 4, it says GZ 317. But at least I've kindly put a footnote there so that you understand that is Justo Gonzalez. Justo Gonzalez. There you go. What that for my wife for a birthday present. She was not happy. Don't do it. Buy it for yourself, perhaps, but we'll wait for the book review before we come to that. No, I'm fine. I'm just in need of some soup. So hopefully you've got bits of that will hopefully be self-explanatory as you go through it. The assignment, write 2,500 words on these titles below. They're laid out on page 2, so that you can see those for yourself. Now, the key thing here, there are 2 key things here, which is going to lead to some problematics. One key thing is Moira is going to mark yours, not me. I'm supposed to be on sabbatical. June, July, and August. Please stifle your muffled laughter at that point. So Moira had kindly agreed she would mark all of the essays, all of the assignments, including this second one, this resource rationale assignment. So she was going to mark that. So I still hope she will. So it's very much worth you talking to her about what she likes out of one of these essays. I think that's what's doing. What's tricky about the resource and rationale is that balance of church and history and theology. So one of the questions, one of the options of the title, how has the church fared in the 20th century with persecution? You could spend your entire word allowance just simply listing all the different places where Christians are being persecuted. There you are, job done. You've explained persecution, you've explained the church. There you go, it's an entire list. It's tremendously boring. So I commend to you the idea of focused picking on one, maybe two countries, tops three, really, to talk about persecution for that church. I recognize you will need to give some history to give the sort of the political context, but you got to try and keep that short and to the point so that you can get onto the church history part of it. So you can get onto to a little bit of theology, perhaps. It's not a theology essay, it is a church history essay, but it's a church history essay, not a history essay. I really hope some of you are finding me patronizing at this point. But it does seem that every year there are people who write me essays and they miss out on this bit. And it'd be good if it was a church history that they were writing. So try your best in that regard. Now, the idea is that you write 1,000 words as a resource. The suggestions here is a magazine article or a Lent evening discussion. Do your best to try and think of something that's perhaps a little bit more profound, perhaps even than a magazine article. I'm not looking for a journal article, but something that is going to give you some depth and teeth to get into, rather than be too light and fluffy, but something that's got some weight to it. And then as you come to the rationale, there's an explanation a bit about what we're looking for in this commentary. The resource part, word count, not so serious. Aim for that 1,000-word mark, but if you go over a bit, we're not too fussed. Of course, if you go over, by a ridiculous amount, you're evidently just starting to take the piss, and we're not going to be that pleased with you. But the rationale part, yes, we do. So you've got to be tight with your word count for that. Keep close to your 1,500 words. Keep that tight. Throughout the whole thing, we're looking for good footnotes, good bibliography throughout the whole thing of that. So do keep focused on that. Not interested in pictures on the whole. Okay, well, that's me. You see, this is why you need to talk to Moira, because she's the one who's going to be marking yours. So it's worthy of that. So have a chat with her. But what we're looking for in that second part is that sort of sense of why it is you've done what it is that you've done, how it is that you would follow up on this, turn it into a rest of Lent course if that's what you've done, or a series of magazine articles if that's what you've done. What are the lessons for us as a modern church to be learning off this church history that we've been learning? So we'll be looking for a bit more in that regard. I'm going to stop here, have my soup, and then I'm going to try and put up some more stuff. The next one will be to do with bibliography and elements to do with that.